This is Linda M Lino. You are listening to Garifuna Sin Fronteras, Garifuna Without Borders via and radio. Stay tuned. We are talking directly about the LGBT community. I know there was a Q. We're gonna touch that later. So
There is a queue in there.
there's a Q in there, but
Yes.
we'll talk about the Q later. So the LGBT community, which is the gay, lesbian, and
Transgender.
transsexual, right, or transgender,
Transgender.
community. The Garifuna community and all the Caribbeans are not immune. We know we have homosexuals in every single community. But in ours, there is such a taboo and there is such a disrespect among this community that we need to break away from it. So the reason of doing this show, which is the first show of 2018,
Yes.
it was because there's a lot of things that we see as a society, and some of us have to take a stand. The day you just quietly listen to someone being disrespected because of their sexual orientation, you are culpable, just like the one who's bullying them. That's the way I see it.
Absolutely.
If you laugh about it or you just join in, you are equally guilty for being for discriminating against the gays, the lesbian, the transsexuals. You are equally a discriminatory person. So today we want to change that. At least we're not going to change everybody's mind, right? But at least we're going to bring some education. Vamos a traerle educación a la comunidad, porque no solo es la comunidad garífuna, este es un problema muy máximo entre la gente de la raza negra, está la gente caribeña. Hay un problema muy grande.
Yeah, but again, because we are Garifuna, we gotta start cleaning house first.
Yes.
If we don't clean house, we cannot go to somebody's and try to sweep the carpet or try to clean the home for them if we don't have our own cleaning gears on to clean our own homes. And this is Nano, if I may, it has come for so long and then so far back. And you just say something that is a point to what I'm here today. That you said that it's an emotional subject to me, honestly, and because growing up, I'm from Corozal. I was born in there, but I'm just basically Garifuna person. I'm from whatever community you send me to when it have to do with Garifuna. But I was born in Corozal, and I grew up looking at my community denying our existence. Up to today, they still deny our existence. Like we are not there. Like we are a problem that don't exist. They want to close their eyes. And when they happen to see that, I mentioned it in one of my live recordings in Facebook, that I grew up seeing people in my community being bullied and being making fun of. Like really making them clowns of the community, literally. And who would want to be one of those? Even I, with the confidence that I always had, I was not able to admit who I was to myself. I went to marry people I was not supposed to marry too, because I started living society's life. I don't think that's fair. You cannot make a person do and be someone that they are not. You have to be a little bit more acceptant and respectful. You have to say, this is not about me, this is about this person's life. And I'm not better than that person, because once you try to change a person for the sexual preference, it's because you believe your preference is better than the person. And there's no such a thing. Because if somebody explains to me, a heterosexual person explains to me why they are heterosexual, then again, I will have to think twice. And maybe their preference is better than mine because, but nobody knows why they are heterosexual. They just know that they do that. By default, everybody is that until you get to know yourself. And I hope everybody starts to understand that. By default, when you talk to your kids, you talk heterosexual. So giving the opportunity to say, no, that's not what I am. But please do it at home. Do not send your child to the streets out there to face life, not knowing that he has the support of his family or her family. Because that's one of the biggest mistakes that is been happening. And yes, my community know that we exist and stop denying it. And up to today, I have not seen an organization, not one, that has brought us over under the umbrella to say, I'm going to have activity today dedicated to this community because they need us. Everybody fights for something else, but never anything when it have to do with us. Again, I am Garifuna. I did so many other activity what it have to do with my culture, but this is the very first time that I hear Garifuna woman actually open and talk about this issue. So if I'm starting this conversation, I want all of these people that represent my community to admit that we are part of this community and to support us. I'm challenging you people, Garifuna community, other organizations to start in inviting us as this community that we are, LGBTQ community.
Our parents out there, when their daughter or their son comes out, and I hate to use the word closet because to me that's also degrading when you say coming out of the closet. You know, when someone actually reveals their sexuality, there are parents out there who will kick them out of their home, who literally will bury them alive just because they told them whether they're a girl, that they're lesbians, or they're a boy, that they are gay or transsexual, whatever it may be. What will you tell those parents out there that shuns their children?
I will tell them this. When you having sexual relation with someone, not using the protection, and you are able to procreate a human being, in that moment you're taking a responsibility to make a human being. And when that human being is formed, you don't know what's gonna be. You do not know what's gonna be. You see, it's a random thing. It can be a baby girl, a baby boy. It can be healthy, not healthy. The mentality is not formed as yet, but the brain is wired for everything that person is gonna be. So, what will you come and think you can have the right to decide and tell that person who they're gonna be? See, you don't even know who that person was going to be. So the same thing here. You cannot just throw away your kids because they are who they are. You made them like that. It is not a choice. It is not a choice. It is what it is. It is what it is. If she was a baby girl and then she feels like a baby girl, she's gonna stay that way. But sometimes even the physical situation does not get wired right with the brain, and that person have to struggle with. Do you think a human being wants to come to suffer? Do you think a human being wants to come to be bullied by you, his parent, out of all people? I don't think so. People are who they are by nature, and they identify with who they are because their brains dictates how they feel, how they're gonna go by life. We not a thing. A gay person is not a thing that you can move and shape. You cannot. Unfortunately for you, that you not accepting it cannot be possible. That's what I was saying. By default, people talk about sex to the kids as just heterosexual, and they have to stop that. You don't know who you are. You don't know who your kids are. Even some of you deny who you are. How can you expect to know who your kids are? So if you throwing your kids away again, throwing them to the street, just divorcing your kid completely because of the sexual preference, you have a problem. And back in the days, I guess, in the 70s, 60s, I would still understand this going on. But now, in this 21st century, when you can have all the help you need, when you can even sit in your computer and do your researches, and you still acting like that and understanding this is not a choice for this person, that this person was born like this, and they shouldn't be begging you about acceptance because you made them. I repeat, you made that person. That person is your making. That is your creation. So you just have to embrace your creation.